Fairfield are watching another awesome episode of Fairfield 2.0 with an awesome crew from everywhere in the world today. We're gonna talk to these guys. I don't even know who they are. I'm gonna have them introduce themselves. Go.
I'm Brett Parnell.
Jeremy Schulich.
Phil Rabelais.
And Dominic Rabelais.
All right, I lied. I know them. Especially these guys over here who are the sons of Fairfield, you might say. The hardest working guys in rock and roll. Rock and roll, both rock and roll.
Oh yeah.
And we have special guests also, in addition to the Rabelais brothers, who are going to talk about everything. We have these guys over here on the end are in a group called 350 Duo. 350 Duo is sort of it's like an indie classical act. And they played Cafe P, and everybody was definitely amazed, including moi. And I was like, please, would you be on my show? Please, would you be on my show? So they, after $100 exchanged hands, they decided they would come here. Let's start over there. What brought you, first of all, what got you to Fairfield? I mean, how did you knew somebody who knew somebody, right? Who knew somebody?
Yeah, my godfather lives here. And he's friends with Chris Johnson as well, who I guess set us up with the gig at Cafe P.
Okay.
Which we're really stoked about.
Okay, and right before here you were in Austin.
That's correct. Yes.
And that's
quite a long haul here. Yeah.
Right. How many hours is that?
About
15.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think we made it in 14 and a half though.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good work.
Yeah.
I guess we drove from Des Moines, which is 2 hours north of here.
You know, that's right. That's right. And we had a little bit of a stay there. It was nice. But I did on the way back from South by Southwest. I never told Dom. Dom and I went to South by Southwest together, at least the trip down. I came back alone, all by myself. But don't worry about me. It was a 12-hour trip.
Nice.
Jeez.
Wow.
You did it in 12
I
hours?
did it in 12 hours, and I was texting on Facebook.
Oh.
So people were like,
so you're
people were
lucky to
going,
be alive.
I'm lucky to be alive. Lucky. And I think that.
You just got so real.
All right, enough of that. And that was as a result of playing South by Southwest a year ago, right?
Right. The stage manager at the showcase that we did last year runs his own series down there, and pretty much right when we came off stage, he asked us if we'd be interested in coming back, and they book about a year in advance, so we came back to do that, which is great. We love Austin.
Well, look at all the cell phones on this table. I wonder which one that could be. Jason Strong, and back of the camera, Jason Strong, producer, director, extraordinaire. That goes off again. You're fired. I'd be the one that fired you.
Probably will.
Yeah. Oh man. Now you played South by Southwest. What was the experience like when you played South by Southwest? Just the whole vibe, the whole deal.
It's a madhouse. It's an absolute madhouse, and they're so fun. Go around, see other music playing was a really good time. But it's just a madhouse. It's almost too much to process when you go down there. I tell people it's like that, and then they're like, "Oh yeah," and then when they finally go down, they're like, "Oh my God, you weren't kidding."
It's like hard to go anywhere not hearing music. Like
Exactly.
literally, it's music
oozing.
is just like bursting out of every single window of every building. So.
And 6th Street.
6 years of madhouse.
Yeah, completely insane.
Now that was 2 years ago. That was a year ago. That was a year ago, rather.
Yeah.
This past year, Dom over here played South by Southwest. What was your affiliation with? You played in a couple of different things, right?
Well, I played. This year was fun because I played solo Little Ruckus sets with Mumfords, who's also from Iowa, and we would just be like Mumfords would get finished playing, and then I'd just start playing my set right after that. And it was really fun. I mean, we just went balls to the wall. Nice. And had a really awesome time. Our friend Dan Butler, who used to make music as The Bastard, and who also used to manage Wesley Willis, lives in Austin now, and his new band, The Bumpin' Uglies, played.
The Bumpin' Uglies, I know the Bumpin' Uglies.
Really?
Bumpin' Uglies were. Did it once have a woman named Cheryl Powelski part of it?
No, this is a new
Bumpin'
small.
Uglies.
This is a little Austin band.
Welcome to today's show, Fairfield. Pick a cell phone, any cell phone.
And they set up a show at just like a really fun coffee house. Then another really cool band from Iowa called the River Monks set us up with a show elsewhere, and they're like super good. Oh, and we also played a house show with them at the house that we were staying at, and like I feel like throughout life and probably throughout talking, me and Phil will rep Mumford super hard all the time. Like we'll probably talk about how awesome they are later. But the River Monks are super, super good too. Like they just were like, all right, we'll set up our instruments in this living room, and then slay like in everything perfectly balanced, like these harmonies. It's just like, oh, here's a ukulele, and then they just like burst in with the most beautiful harmony of all time. Just like no warming up or anything, and then they can do that same thing in like an actual venue, and it's like sounds exactly the same, exactly the amount of like beautiful intimacy, just the same.
Nice. Phil, you're no stranger to South by Southwest. Utopia Park, that the brothers Phil and Dom Rabelais are a part of. You you weren't there this year.
Nope.
Why, young man?
Why was I not there? I don't know. Why did I not go?
For the fun of it.
Yeah, I didn't go for the fun of it. No, I had a lot of projects I was tying up that needed attention in Fairfield.
What was that? That was the cameraman, ladies and gentlemen, Jason Strong. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, but I had some stuff I was tying up, and I just opted out.
Yeah, I personally missed you, and I was going to call, but I figured let's leave him alone. He's got his own thing going on. But you guys are going to be. You guys have so many configurations of what you do. We need to get that. We need to get the checklist right now for all of Fairfield. Okay. I don't even know where you start. I think we have to start with Dom because I think he has the most at this point.
I don't know. I think Phil has more.
Phil has the more. Okay, here we go. Phil, you want to maybe take it for both of you guys, but what is the collective amount of acts and who are they?
All right,
between
the
Rabelais,
let's have a band off.
We've never counted. Well, let's start with Spooky Nights.
Oh yeah,
Spooky Nights.
This band, this like garage rock band that we were in like years ago.
Okay.
It was me and Phil. Yeah, go for it.
With Simon and Sarah Brooks, who are amazing musicians. Simon lives in Minneapolis now, but from Fairfield.
So this is the origin. We're hearing the origin story here, basically.
Yeah.
Well, the true origin story is, I guess, coming up.
Porno Galactica.
Was that our first band? No, Porno Galactica was our first band.
You want to go back to this? You can go back to just from that name. We need to talk about it right now.
Well, that's what Utopia Park actually was originally called.
Yeah.
Was Porno Galactica, and Porno Galactica won the best of Fairfield music.
Yeah.
In, I think 2009.
Yeah. We have mugs to prove.
Yeah. So there were contests here, the best of Fairfield music?
There was this blog, Fairfield Voice, which no longer exists. It was Will Meredith, who I think used to live work right across the hall here.
Okay.
But so Spooky Nights, Porno Galactica, which then became Utopia Park, which is kind of a different band, so we're gonna call that a band.
Yeah.
Okay.
That definitely counts. I mean, we don't really play. We haven't played a Porno Galactica song in a really long time.
Yeah. It's a different style.
Yeah.
Than Utopia Park. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know, Utopia Park sounds like the natural, stepping stone from Porno Galactica. I guess. Porno Galactica was really a different entity, though. Yeah. Like, we had a sign that had the word porno on it that had, like, Christmas lights on it that would blink to, like, spell Porno and stuff. And it was just all about, like, getting people hype and stuff. Like, literally, we didn't do anything but get people hype. Like, we had no role as musicians.
Yeah, we just DJ'd our tracks. But we didn't even really DJ them because we just played them.
Push play, and then we, like, high-five people and, like, spray people with, like, confetti and silly string and stuff.
Performance art. So this is the beginning of your performance art tendencies.
Yeah.
But it was more like performance art, like, it was like, everyone was performance arting together. It wasn't like, oh, check it out, here's this track, now watch us dance. It was like, all right, here's this track, now let's throw down together.
And I've watched this in action. This is an amazing thing. If you haven't seen these guys and what they do with crowds in Mumford, Mumford's, it's an amazing thing. Their crowd control is a really spooky thing, actually. All right, let's stop there. We're going to push the pause button. Yeah. What do you guys think of all this so far?
Good. Sounds awesome.
Makes you want to join.
We just met outside, just to be.
Yeah. All right, back. Okay, play button.
All right, so Utopia Park, and then Dom started the band Coyote Slingshot, which was his solo project, and about the same time I started a band called Animal with Darla Murphy, who's also in Rock Paper Scissors, and then.
There we go.
Let's see, and then Little Ruckus popped up. And Trouble
Little
Lights
Rock.
popped up.
Yeah, I feel like there's like
I feel like there's weird other stuff.
and then I was in a band with Taylor Ross for a little while called Fierce Wing. And also I'm in a band with Joey Del Rey and Joseph called Surgery.
Yeah,
There you go.
Surgery and Surgery. We've actually done a show on you guys.
Yeah.
So this is like, is it the 4th or 5th time you've been on a show? I'm not
This
sure.
is the third if you count the time that we had to reshoot something. But we didn't actually have to reshoot anything. Nothing was reshot.
That's right, and nothing got reshot at all. Right, Jason?
It was seamless.
Right. Or Fairfield. Fairfield. Let's hang out. Well, no. Let's do a little show and tell.
Sure.
Yeah. These are a couple of the projects you guys worked on, right?
Yeah, this is the Animal album,
Nice.
which we just came out with. Actually, I think this is why I didn't go to South by Southwest.
Oh yeah.
Because I was finishing this up and our show was booked at like right around the same time.
Where was the show?
Beauty Shop.
Beauty Shop.
And then this.
I've heard of that place. Good.
Yeah. This is the Beauty Shop's compilation CD,
Right.
which we produced, and it's got 15 different like bands and configurations of people in Fairfield. So.
Who's your favorite act on there? Oh, that's a bad question.
No, well, yeah, that is a bad
I think
question.
14
it's like,
people will
well,
hate
actually, I feel like this is like the most politically savvy choice, but also like No Chance of Slowing Me Down by Nate Hedrick is a fantastic song. Like hands down, just a beautiful song. Like everything about it, like the performance itself, the song written, like all the instrumentation, like the performance of those instruments.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Nice. Now, apparently you love evil.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I'll cover up the bad word on this album cover.
Oh, okay. Good idea.
Actually, Mike is on this album
No.
cover. Holding.
Photo.
I think you're holding the sign that says "Summer won't come for the likes of us. Your forgiveness will never be enough."
Yes, I tried to pull the rabbit ears down. They just wouldn't come down either. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun that day. For those who don't know, from my perspective, Dom just herded everybody within like 5 counties who was a musician, and we all like screamed and sang sort of backgrounds for Dom's project.
Awesome.
It was a lot of
And
fun.
then-
It was the most fun I think I've ever had in a one day. Or whatever that was. It was like a flash recording drive.
Yeah.
It's great.
And actually, eventually, you'll probably get invited to a Facebook invitation about trying to like recreate this scene, like getting all these people back together for a music video.
Oh, great.
Where I will also get my throat slit by this dude, and then hung upside down.
In reality.
That's in reality.
While sitting on the throne of
You don't
bone.
want this. Brothers.
I don't know.
Real life sacrifice.
Yeah.
You gotta bleed for your
No,
art,
and
man.
if you're gonna love evil, you gotta have human sacrifice, I guess.
But
Fairfield,
really-
you know we're kidding, right? And actually, we had a. Go ahead.
I feel like I should make a spiel about We Love Evil, because I kind of like ran into some resistance about the term We Love Evil, and to me, it just flows off the tongue really well. We love evil. But
One
also,
reason to use it as.
But also, I feel like I mean, and I'm partially to blame for this. It probably wasn't like clear, but like the idea of We Love Evil is an idea of like accepting yourself and making yourself even stronger and more beautiful by engaging and like battling evil with love. Because if you hate evil, then evil is just going to become more powerful. But if you love evil, then it becomes under your control and you can make it.
Fairfield, see,
and
this is
yourself
this.
better.
See, this is the explanation. Okay, I want you to understand. As you're busy walking around, ripping posters down off of streetlights and whatever lampposts. I actually went into this with Merritt and Steve the other day with the Giacomini's. I had them here, and I was going on about all the things I love about Fairfield, and I said, but I have to say, one of the things that kind of irked me was the pulling down of the posters when you were putting up your posters to advertise your album. I thought because that shows a little intolerance, or it shows a little not accepting somebody else's art, because this is what for what. People who don't know about the project, they should respect whatever your art is, and etc. But on the and then I said, but on the other hand, this is a story that's continuing. So I said that at some point, stuff like this isn't even going to matter. It's like sort of where you're coming from with this. It's almost an education. The way that you just described, if you love evil, if you hate evil, it's just going to make its evil stronger. If you love evil, it's sort of like the way it's sort of like when people hated George Bush. Then hate would be strong. But they used to say stuff like, "Oh, don't hate him. Give him love so that he could be a better leader." I was more interested in being angry with that guy at the time. But I got the concept. But the concept is exactly right. All right, enough of that. What other projects you got? What else you got?
There's this scene that me and Lane Weaver made called Weird Life, which is all about how weird life is.
Okay.
Actually, well, it's not really about how weird life is. It's actually just like art that our friends made. But the idea behind like Weird Life is just like seeing normal things that like are awesome and that we do every day, and just like kind of being like, wow, that's totally weird, and like that's great. Like just like it's kind of, I guess it's a kind of similar thing of like We Love People, just being like totally accepting of like how strange and thusly awesome everything is.
And you're aware of the buttons that get pushed in the process, right?
Yeah, like my friend Neil had a really funny point. He was like, I don't think I've ever seen such a positive, like, friendly album that is also so, like, that also pushes people's buttons.
This is, I mean, this one right here will cover up the, yes. This one right here is a lot of, this is like really great pop. There's a lot of great pop on here.
Yeah.
It's like a little different than what might be. See, look at those songs. See?
Creeptown, Lord of the Flies, Low Cash, Always Mistakes. These are great.
Great stuff. Now, have we covered all of the Rabelais configurations yet?
I believe so.
Okay. Again, 352. What do you think of all this?
I'm impressed.
This is. Have you gotten the impression since you've been here that this is definitely? I know you had a good time last night playing, but do you get the impression that this is like a real music and art town?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You've been around. You've been touring some places. Has there been any place that's like close to this or remotely?
It's actually funny. My hometown bears some similarity.
Which
I would agree with that. Actually,
yeah, Brattleboro, Vermont.
Oh, okay.
Which I'm actually surprised is actually even bigger than this town. I couldn't believe when someone said that Fairfield is only 10,000 people. I couldn't believe how much there is here, considering how small it is.
Yeah.
And Brattleboro is similar, but not. I'd say not quite as much going on. But
so Brooklyn.
It's a place. It's awesome.
I've never heard of it.
I've never heard of it, and yet I live there.
Yeah.
I love I was on and off in Brooklyn for a while. I'm an ex-New Yorker, or you can never be an ex-New Yorker. I'm a New Yorker, and also a Fairfieldian. But I feel like when you're, Brooklyn has this vibe of arts, of music, of bring your kid for all the different schools that are there, all the private schools. It's really an amazing place. It's the progressive wing of Manhattan, of New York, which is interesting because you would think Manhattan would be the progressive wing, but it's too much of a mix.
Manhattan often gets what is innovated in Brooklyn.
Oh, there you go.
That's my
Good answer.
take on it sometimes.
That makes us sound way cooler.
Obviously that's a very big generalization. But
In New York, well, talk about the places that you play. You obviously there are a bunch of
around New York,
yeah.
Everywhere. Like,
what are your favorite places to play?
Let's see. Southpaw was a really amazing venue that was in Park Slope in Brooklyn. We played a few times. Really great vibe there. Love the people that work there. Unfortunately, it closed down just a few months ago. Such a huge bummer. That's one place. We're playing at a place called the Monkey in a couple weeks. That's actually where we produced our last record. I was the owner of that.
You mean
same
this
space.
one here? Do you want to talk about the album for a little bit? There you go. Thank you.
Yeah, well, we produced this at that same venue, which has like ridiculous equipment there. The owner of the venue is named Dominic Frasca, who is an insane guitarist, but also quite a whiz at the mixing board there. His venue is pretty kick-ass too, like surround sound.
Oh wow!
Ridiculous.
Is there a surround sound mix of the album hiding somewhere in his?
I wish.
I think he joked about that from time to time.
Yeah.
He's like, we could totally make it just for here.
Do you? All right. So now we have to get into your origin story. How did you guys meet? How did that work?
We met actually in school. We met in grad school. We both went to Yale, and we both went for classical guitar. And we actually started playing together as part of a class. You're required to play in a small ensemble when you're in school, and we were actually the last two guitarists left. And so, well, we had got along immediately from meeting one another. And there were a couple of classical guitar pieces that we talked about playing. And we're like, oh, we should just play them together. So we started playing together, really straight up classical stuff. And then at the end of that semester, we did a performance of it. It just felt good. And so we did it again the next semester, and again the next semester, and again all the way through. And then by the time we left, we were like, yeah, this is what we want to do. And then immediately Jeremy moved to New York. I was already living there. And we just started working it there from there. And so first record, very classical. You know, you got Bach, you got Brahms, things like that, mixed in with a couple of our own tunes. And then we started playing a lot of shows, and people would say, oh, you know which one was my favorite? Is actually the one that you guys wrote. And we're like, oh, okay. Maybe I'll write another one. And we did it again. It got good reaction. And then the writing got very exciting, and then we just kind of ran with it. And Circles, this record, would be kind of the culmination of that. You know, it's all original tunes. It's all acoustic, some steel string stuff, a lot of nylon. Yeah. And then from there, it started to morph more now, getting into electric guitar, way more interested in songwriting and sounds than I am in being a virtuosic guitarist. You know, that classical guitar side of me is gone. You know. But,
yeah. Although last night, well, these guys, of course, as I mentioned earlier, played at Cafe Paradiso. But what I saw was you guys are still interested in getting the emotion out on the instrument. It isn't like it's like you've taken your training and you've used, and now you're applying it to who you are, which is
right.
That should be the goal of any kind of training on an instrument. Mm-hmm. To be able to express yourself as you want to, and I thought it was, and we'll see later when you guys perform. You know, there's no lack of that. But when you guys,
we're both very thankful actually, because I think a lot of the time in the classical music world, there's, especially for this certain breed of classical musician that goes to these competitions and just practices for hours on end every day playing scales, and just this whole idea of virtuosity, which we were pursuing for a little while there in school to some extent, but we're both very lucky that we studied with teachers that were
open-minded.
Yeah, open-minded, and also really so focused on the pure music making part of it, and the individual expression and the creativity, and even when you're playing a piece by Bach or Mozart or something, that the idea is to express yourself through the music, and not just to play the notes the best that you can, or something.
Yeah. Did you when you started creating the songs? Now you both have been bringing in your individual compositions for the most part, but you also have been collaborating, right?
That's a more recent thing that we've. It's been really exciting. Actually, I was talking to Jeremy today. I have a new tune, and I was like, man, I really can't think of what to do for this second part, and I'm gonna just throw it his way because it's nice. It almost I'd say the tunes that we've done that on are tougher to make come out, but I think have in the end been better because it we very quickly shot down by the other person. It's like, I came in with this part, like, no, I don't like that, and it's just, we don't hurt each other's feelings. It's just, I remember one of my favorite songs I wrote, the middle section sucked. It was just, and Jeremy told me, he's like, yeah, the beginning's great, ending's great. He's like, in the middle, he's like, I don't know what you're doing there. He's like, it sounds forced and bad. And he was absolutely right, actually, and I'm so grateful that he said that. And then we kind of sat down with it and worked out that middle section in a different way. So I think at this point, there's really no hurting each other's feelings.
And that's different from you guys, whereas if somebody disagrees with the other, you're in a fist fight, right?
It's over. It's over.
Exactly. It's done. What do you, actually, I want to ask that question. When you guys, obviously you guys get together and you do create music together, what's your deal with that? How do you do it?
Well, the way we've been doing it more recently with Utopia Park stuff has been, I will either start with a beat and then give it to Dom, and he'll sing or rap over it, and then we'll flesh it out. Or Dom will start with a song and the beginnings of a beat, and then I will take it and do more of the production side of stuff.
Yeah.
Arrange it and figure out where to do what, and it's kind of just a back and forth until we're like, all right, that's it.
Now you've also been edging more towards production lately too, as far as your own career, as far as I feel like it has to be your brothers, and by the way, how did you meet? When you work on projects together, is it kind of like that where it's like, not, well, that part sucks, you should remove that, and like even like bringing your own projects to the other brother? I'm imagining you're bouncing off the ideas of each other's individual projects off the other brother, right?
Yeah. I've heard the new Little Ruckus. It's amazing.
Well, me and Philip are actually Philip's gonna help me mix that.
Okay.
So like I have it all like down, but
New Little Ruckus is
kind of mixed.
Yet another album.
Yeah.
Yet another album. It's like
Did you
3
have
months
another
old.
one of these fests, by the way?
What's that?
Did you have another one of these gatherings for background vocals?
I didn't. It was a more.
It was supposed to be.
affair.
It was supposed to be an EP. It was supposed to be like 4 or 5 songs. Turned into like 12 or something.
Yeah.
You can't help yourself. It's like.
But no, this will be
you
really
guys,
cool.
you can't turn off your button. There's no off button. I love this.
This will be really cool. It's gonna be Tank Girl versus Cape Girl Volume 1, and then I'm working on. I want to make like a all sample bait, like completely illegal album called Tank Girl versus Cape Girl Volume 2. And that'd be awesome.
God, you didn't hear it here
The goal is
first.
to be sued by as many people as possible.
Yeah, Fairfield, you're not in on this. He never said.
Going for a world record.
Like I said, I admire just the whole energy. I keep teasing you about that, but it's not anything to be teased about. It's something to be incredibly proud of. I've really never seen this type of energy. You are literally in constant motion. Look, you can't even. You're just in constant motion, and it's really, like I said, the hardest working guys in rock and roll. See, now we have to do that.
I was just getting bashful.
I know. Getting bashed on. Love bash.
Love bash. With you guys, you're off to what after here? You're going to be doing some more gigs. I know you're off to Germany. I know that for sure.
It's already booked.
And Austria, it's already booked. Miriam's mother already has you. Miriam Stickum's mother already has you in. Which, by the way, I would do it if this actually happens. If the gig comes up, just go conquer Germany and Austria.
Nothing against that.
Well, okay. There's a question. What about the world market? Your kind of music, kids. It's gonna get you somewhere. But I think that it's a world market. It's an international kind of thing.
Yeah, what's nice about not having vocals is it's instrumental music. I think can be truly heard by everyone in the same way.
Do you know the parallel would be jazz?
Absolutely.
I mean, indie classical is, or progressive classical, however you want to look at that, is it is, well, using the word as a definition of the word jazz. It is a jazz. It's not jazz.
There's no improvisation, at least in what we do.
But that's the thing they like. But there may not be improvisation. But the point that it's a left of center kind of maybe music that's already been established or whatever.
Mm.
That is something that the world seems to be a little more hip on than us. We like improv. How much improv do you guys? From your live shows, I know how much improv goes on, man. But do you find yourself like? You find yourself like in the studio, you come up with a song or two, and then you have an original idea on how this is going. You as a producer especially, you have an idea of how this is going to go, and then you think, oh, that sucked. No, this isn't going to happen. And then you switch it out just at that moment, sort of whatever impulsively is coming out.
Yeah, I think in the studio, I actually kind of try to design certain things that we haven't figured out, so that it does come at the moment a little more.
Yeah,
I find that those things like. The theory is, my theory, it doesn't exist anywhere outside of this right here, but my theory is that if you leave a little bit of creativity in when you're actually in the studio and you're not just like you guys were saying, you're not just banging out the notes, then I like to be able to keep that conversation going even in the studio. We haven't figured out exactly how we're going to record it. We haven't figured out, even with Adrian with Trouble Lights, we try what I want to do is leave the harmonies out until we're in the studio and figure them out there, and take an hour and figure them out, because I like the idea of having to do some of that creative work there too.
And coming in fresh.
Coming in fresh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, your ideas and your thoughts one day are not going to be the same as the day before.
Yeah.
And is that the same with you guys when you get together and let's say you're creating a new song? You create a new song and then comes the next day. Do you find that all of a sudden there's an even fresher approach to where you started?
I mean, there's always drafts. I mean, even some of the tunes that we played last night at Cafe P, like we'll go back to New York and work because we're actually in the process of recording our third record now, and we'll absolutely redo stuff. It's like, okay, this is working, this is not working, and so I think that's.
And there are things that work in the studio that also don't work live.
Yeah.
Well, for instance, just so people.
Well, I mean, like there's some tunes on our new record that I think we're gonna have like violin on, and we want like a more full drum part on. And it's like unless we're touring with
right, it's an
more people
overdub.
An
overdub situation.
Yeah, and like we're starting to do some loops and everything now, but there are times when looping can work, and other times when it doesn't.
It's obnoxious, actually.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So
the funny thing is that there are so many. It's caught on with the singer-songwriter community, and now it's almost like if you don't have a loop thing going on or some fun computer-oriented groove thing going on, a beat, anything, it just seems like there's something missing. And I'm feeling it too. Like I'm feeling like, and I'm an old guy, and I'm watching these things and I'm thinking, yeah, that seems a little stale now without these other fun elements.
I think it's,
and I never thought I'd get here, but I'm like tired of a really good song and a really good performance.
Yeah.
I want more.
I think it's a dangerous thing though, because I am finding that I hear a lot of people putting that stuff on there, but the base material, if the song's not good, you can dress it up, but it's still gonna suck. And so
exactly.
I think that hopefully what we're doing is trying to have a good bass song and then build from there. So I go in phases. I go in phases where I want it insanely produced and many things on as possible, and then where I just want it to be two guitars. But we'll see what I feel like the day we go in the studio.
Now,
sorry. No. We usually say like it's better to have the idea first and then get whatever piece of equipment you need in order to make that happen, as opposed to I don't know. That's not always true, because sometimes I'll just like see a pedal and I'm like, wow, that looks really cool, and, and you get it, and then you just like screw around with it, and who knows what you'll end up coming up with that you wouldn't have been able to come up with without that pedal. But I think in general, I think it's better to have the creative spark first, and then just do whatever you can to make that happen, make that vision come true.
Now you're married. Are you driving your wife crazy with
this?
Yeah, are you driving your wife crazy with the sort of like, honey, I gotta go write something. I gotta go.
Oh,
tour.
Well, the touring is hard. I mean, we've both been venting about that. We miss our ladies very much. That's the only.
You're both okay.
Well, he's not married.
I have a girlfriend.
But, yeah.
She's too smart to marry.
That is pretty much the only thing I don't like about touring, is being away from her. So.
Oh, she's gonna have to see this video.
Yeah. He's a sweetheart.
Are you? So you're working on your next album already, and you're already experimenting with new sounds and electric. You're going a little more electric sometime during it. But I feel the thing you capture. I feel like I want to tell you that the thing you captured on that second album is really pretty precious. Without being precious, it's not precious. That's not the right word. It's really inspired. So I need a promise from you right now. No, that you're not going to lose all the.
But there actually are going to be some tracks on the new album that bear more resemblance.
Acoustic, just two guitars.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you feel like that's the locked in vibe? That's the root. That's the basis. Of your act.
But actually, what we're thinking with the new album, I think what we're most excited about actually is that I don't think it's going to be any one thing. I think it's going to be a pretty varied sound world. Like
which we hope is still cohesive. Like there's something that runs through the entire thing that makes it sound like this is clearly from the same band. But I don't want any song to sound like another song. He's always getting on me about that. Where if I write something that sounds like something else I already wrote, kind of already wrote that.
I mean, I think this album, this was like a more focused idea in and of itself, and I still think. I mean, I'm really proud of it, and I'd hope that each track is presenting something distinctive still, but it's not like a concept album or anything like that necessarily, but it has like a more singular voice, I guess.
Are you still working with the same? Yeah, we got about 2 minutes.
Right.
Okay.
I just want to make sure the communication was clear.
Jason, great. We have just a couple of minutes left, and I wanted to ask you, how many shows have you been on where there are 5 guitarists sitting together? There's like 5 guitarists here.
Actually, a
Guitarists,
lot.
right?
These are the only people we
You're
know.
not a guitarist.
I mean, I've played guitar.
Okay, 5 guitarists. We have 5 guitarists here.
Are you
Man, you're not a guitarist, get out of here.
Oh.
Which one of
Who
these
let
is
you
not
in
like
here?
you? I want, but it's. I really want to thank you for coming here because this has been a lot of fun.
thank you.
But I have a
Thank
traditional
you.
question that I want to go around the room.
Oh,
What's your
great.
advice for new artists? Couple
Advice
sentences.
for new artists: just be true to yourself.
I don't know how to follow that.
I know.
Just
Don't be true to yourself.
Betray
Yeah.
yourself.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I guess
The
just
title of your next album.
listen to a lot of new music. Just engulf yourself in the passion of it. Try a lot of new things out. Play with a lot of different people.
Phil,
Oh,
who
man.
works with new artists all the time.
Oh, I don't know. I think be true to yourself is the best one.
Yeah,
That's really
that's hard
good.
to.
That's hard.
Yeah,
That's
knocked it out
still
the
what
park.
we have.
Can't top that, man.
That's- I mean, that's
that actually becomes, I feel like, more relevant even as you get further
Exactly.
along.
I agree. Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'll just elaborate on be true to yourself. Just make sure when you start that every decision that you make is based on being true to yourself, and that like it's about the idea. It's not about being successful. It's not about money or popularity, or it's about like the music you want to make.
Right.
Absolutely.
And anything outside of that is just a problem.
And your answer is betray yourself.
Well, I don't know. Listen, I feel like okay, never mind. I'm into this answer. I think that people who start to play music or anybody really should just go so hard and just work. Like work your ass off 100% of the time. Like never stop. Never be like, "Oh, that was cool. I'm going to sit back with a beer to reward myself." It's like, "No, dude, now go write another album." Like, "Okay, cool. You wrote like 5 songs. Now go write 5 more songs." Like, "Oh, cool. You played that show. Show was fun. Let's book another show." Just like keep on going hard. Hustle all the time.
Surprising answer from Dominic Rebel, who we know is just a slacker because he drinks his beer. Unbelievable! It's really, like I said, the ever-ready bunny here. This has been a real pleasure to have you guys all on the show. And
Thank you for having
us.
let's
Yeah,
absolutely.
do this.
Thank
We're going
you.
to hear some music from 350 Duo. We're going to hear music from the Rabelais in the future. I know you're coming back. They're like going to be like co-hosts in another week or so.
That'd be fun.
That'd be
Ooh,
fun.
actually, next time we have a touring person, we could see it.
Absolutely. You bring everybody here. But you guys are great. I really appreciate it. Now we're going to hear some music from you. Fairfield 2.0. Let's see if I can get this. I am going to go through it now. Jeremy Parnell.
It's a nice combination of our two names.
No, Brett Parnell.
There you
Brett
go.
Parnell. Jeremy Schillick.
We're gonna be married. I'm gonna take his last name. That's gonna be my new name, Jeremy Parnell.
And Phil.
That's it.
Phil Rabelais. Yeah, dude. Okay, Dominic Rabelais. Thank you all. This has been a
Yeah,
lot of fun.
thank you
And
very
Fairfield
much.
2.0, we'll see you soon after this music. Tune into another exciting adventure.
This one's called "The Way a Day Collapses." The title is taken from a line of poetry by Viola Stock.
We are a 350 duo, and we're going to be playing a few songs for you today. This one's called Circles. So the next one we're going to do, I wrote because I went through a J.D. Salinger phase, which I think every guy does. But the two books two stories that I really loved were Seymour, an Introduction, and Raise High the Roof Beam Carpenters. And Seymour, an Introduction is told from the point of view of the younger brother talking about the older brother. And I am a younger brother, and I love my older brother more than anyone in the world. So I wrote this for him. So this is called Roof Beam. This one's called Drive.